Hello. So SEMRush has an awful lot going on in it, and it uses a lot of different terminology and names for things. And it's important to know and understand how reliable each of those things are and what they're referring to. So I'm just going to pull out some of the more common ones that you will come across. Here on this chart, we have authority score and all of a bunch of domains. So we've got Beefeater and some of their competitors down here. So we've got authority score, referring domains, backlinks, referring IPs, monthly visits, and keywords. So how useful is this chart to us? Well, to start off with, authority score is SEMrush's own metric, and it's trying to judge how good a website is based on its understanding of all the other metrics that it's got. So, whether that's referring domains, how many keywords it knows that it's ranking for, and it gives it a score out of 100. This is very similar to something called domain authority, which is a metric from a different business called Moz. And Google don't use either of these two metrics. These are just the best guess from SEMrush, this authority score, as to how good, how powerful a website is. And I would only ever take this as a guide, because sometimes you will see this number and it might be 70, 80, and the actual website itself you might look at and think, well, no, this is a terrible website. We wouldn't want to get a link from there. It's kind of essentially fooled SEMrush or Moz with having tons and tons of backlinks, which may be terrible backlinks. So I use it as a guide because it's roughly accurate, but like I said, don't just judge a website on this score. It's something that the industry as the whole we've done in the past is say, well, we only want links from a high authority score website, and you'll get some that are quite low, and they'll be really, really good websites, and clients have said, well, we don't want them because they've got a low score. That is not the way to go about looking at backlinks. So that's authority score for you, one to be quite careful about. Now, referring domains, so that is individual domains, individual websites that are linking to, say, Beefeater. So they've got 2.1 thousand referring domains. So the BBC, for example, that would count as one referring domain. And you could throw in there Wikipedia, that would be another referring domain, and so on and so on. So they've got quite a lot of individual websites that are linking. And this figure in SEMrush they're the referring domains that SEMrush has found. That means that there may be other websites that are linking to Beefeater or Brewers Fayre that aren't going to appear in here because SEMrush has just failed to find them on the internet. The internet is very, very big. So if you use, say, Ahrefs instead of SEMrush, these figures will be different. So when you're doing some sort of comparison, I would always choose to use one tool as my to kind of get these figures out, because otherwise you'll have conflicting data. So that's referring domains. Backlinks, now you'll notice that we've got 2.1k referring domains, but we have 148,000 backlinks. That means that some of these referring domains are contributing an awful lot more backlinks than one. That will quite often happen if you have like a site-wide link in, say, the header or the footer of a website that links to Beefeater, and suddenly you've got hundreds and hundreds of links going back to Beefeater from just one domain. I tend to look first at referring domains to find the value in those, which ones are quality that we would want to get a link from, and I'd worry more about this number than the actual total number of backlinks themselves, because this has more 2.6k referring domains, but it has less backlinks. But I would say that this is likely to be the stronger backlink profile because of that variety in referring domains. So if you're getting 10,000 links just from one domain, that probably isn't really help supporting their SEO particularly. Referring IPs, I think you can ignore this mostly. This is the IP address from that are referring to Beefeater. Generally speaking, don't touch this at all. Monthly visits. Now, this is guesswork again by SEMRush. So what it's doing is it's looking really at the number of keywords and the search volume of those keywords, how people are searching for Beefeater, and it's making an educated guess as to how many monthly visits Beefeater should be getting out of those keywords, what traffic they should be getting. However, I would never quote these to a client because they will look in Google Analytics where they've got more accurate data, and they'll say, well, we don't get that many monthly visits, so maybe all of this data is also wrong. So it can be bit of a help to us when we're looking at competitors and where we think they stand, but again, this is a guess. And then on to keywords. So SEMRush track their own set of keywords, and they keep adding and adding to this set of keywords, and they track billions of them, and occasionally they will add millions more as people start to search in different ways. So this is not a definitive number of keywords. This is just the ones that are in SEMrush's own database. But it is, like I said, it's a massive database, so it gives us a really good idea as to, who's ranking best in Google. So here we can see Harvester with 155,000 keywords that SEMrush say that they are ranking for. That would be ranking for in the top 100. These figures can be narrowed down using other areas of SEMrush. And obviously, they're far outstripping, or so it seems, Beefeater in this case. And their traffic estimated is obviously a lot higher as well than Beefeater. So that just gives you an idea of some of these metrics, which ones to trust in. So referring domains and backlinks, pretty much trust in those. Although, like I said, Ahrefs may get you different figures. The keywords is really good as well. Monthly visits is a guess. An authority score, well, that can cause you issues if you rely on it too much. Quite often it is useful to filter by authority score when you're looking at referring domains and which ones are good and which ones are bad. But if you're not careful, you will cut off something that is good just because it has this low authority score, which, as I said, is SEMrush's own metric and doesn't necessarily mean anything at all to Google. So there's some of the key bits of terminology of SEMrush and the ones that I would look out for, and the ones that I would trust in more. Okay.